Hello everyone, I know that it has been a while since I have posted anything, but I'm finally getting back into the swing of things, and I thought that I would continue with talking about our next case, which is Caitlin Potts. Um, this is definitely a confusing one. Well, you feel like you know what happened, but there is just nothing. Like the RCMP, they say that they did a good investigation, but I feel like they say that a lot of times. So I'm going to leave it up for you to decide. Like always, you should definitely check out the links in the description that I use for my research and definitely read it and form your own opinion. I will say I tried to look up different combinations to get my research, and there were very few articles that really told me anything differently, and that just goes to show how badly the reporting or investigations on this were. And for all we know, maybe they just aren't public, but that's to say that there's really not a whole lot out there. So let's go ahead and get into it. So Caitlin Potts was 27 and has been missing since February 22nd, 2016. Caitlin is a Samson Cree First American, a mother, and she is absolutely loved by her family. In fact, her sister Cody says, "I used to tell her everything. She was so outgoing and bubbly and made everyone feel comfortable and happy." And you definitely get that vibe when you look at her photos. She just has this warmth about her. She just seems like she was a very nice person. Well, she was last seen by a witness in Inderby, British Columbia. There was a missing persons report that was filed with the RCMP on March 1st, and in May 2017, the RCMP said they suspected foul play and released a surveillance video of her entering Orchard Place Mall in Kelowna, which she entered on February 21st, 2016. So the day before she has believed to gone missing, and that was the last time she has been seen. So Caitlin had a busy social media presence, but there was a Facebook message sent to her sister on the morning of the 22nd, and that was the last time she posted anything, and the last time friends and family have heard from her. And we are going to get into that message very soon, but first, we're going to talk about some chilling clues that her sister Cody says that she left behind. So she left Cody a message the morning she went missing, saying she had found a ride to Calgary, and that was it. She just found a ride. She also said she would be coming back that night for sure. And Caitlin was living in Edmonton with Cody before she moved to Inderby, where her boyfriend had moved a few months earlier. They had been together off and on for about 2 years, and Cody says that he abused Caitlin, and she would often show up with bruises and she'd be in tears. And Cody goes on to say, "One time she called me crying and said she was hiding in the bathroom, saying he was outside and he was going to kick the door in." He would be arrested that night, and Caitlin stayed in a women's shelter in Salmon Arm. She would go back to him a few months later, which was at the beginning of February, and she left him again at some point that same month. So the month she went missing is when she would leave him again. So you're already kind of getting a weird feel for the boyfriend. He's obviously not a good person. Cody goes on to say that she also texted her estranged boyfriend the day she went missing, saying she was upset with him over money he owed her, and that's really all she said about that. So they definitely felt like the RCMP wasn't doing their job, so her family, Caitlin's family, would take the search into their own hands. Priscilla, Caitlin's mom, contacted Indigenous groups in BC, British Columbia, to help them conduct a search. And this is just, like I said, they lost faith in the RCMP, so they want answers, which obviously we would all want answers if this was our child. One of the people that would be one of the leaders called in to join was Grand Chief Stuart Phillip. And he says the RCMP have not been conducting a vigorous and robust investigation, and consequently there are far more questions than answers. So the RCMP, and if you're wondering what that stands for, I realized I haven't said that. It's the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. So they received a missing persons report on March 1st, like I said, but they did not put out an official alert until March 21st, so 20 days later. That's a pretty big gap. Cody and Priscilla traveled from Alberta to join the 50-strong search party to find Caitlin. They scoured the community. They went door to door. They even searched rivers and nearby roads. And just so you know, the community is actually located along Highway 97, which is one of the arteries of the it's one of the arteries that the RCMP names as being part of the Highway of Tears. If you don't know what the Highway of Tears is, a lot of Indigenous women go missing around that highway or even found around there deceased. So there's a lot of bad associated with the Highway of Tears. Obviously, it has the name Highway of Tears. You should definitely look into it more. So it's the community being that close to it. It definitely also makes you think that it could have been a complete stranger that could have taken her. We just don't know. So now, the official alert that was put out by the RCMP, the missing alert after they reported it officially 20 days later, says the RCMP Major Crimes Unit is now assisting Vernon North Okanagan RCMP with the investigation of POTS. That's what the alert said, nothing else. Wow, thanks, I guess, for that alert. When asked about her daughter, Priscilla said this: "My daughter is incredibly smart. She was always on the honor roll in high school. And Caitlin was in foster care until she was 11, but Priscilla remembers those visits, and she goes on to say, when she was a child on our visits, we do everything as a family. Go to the lake, have dinners. She was always happy." So everyone is just saying, she was such a happy, bright child and an adult, and it's just crazy, that someone would do this to her. So we're going to go into her description if you happen to see her or anything like that. So Caitlin is approximately 5'3", 150 pounds, brown eyes, and long black hair with blonde streaks. And anyone with info is asked to contact the Vernon RCMP at 250-545-7170, or you can give an anonymous tip at Crime Stoppers at 1-888-222-8477. And now we're going to talk about the surveillance video. So RCMP investigators with the Southeast District Major Crimes Unit, or the MCU, released video surveillance of Caitlin entering Orchard Park Mall on February 21st, 2016. She enters at approximately 1:30 p.m. that Sunday afternoon. And this is what she was wearing at the time of the disappearance, and I'm sure you've either seen the photo on the screen by now, or I'm putting it on there right now again. She is wearing a 3/4 length black jacket with a hood, light colored pants, black winter boots, a hair tie, or a hair scrunchie, a large light brown leather style handbag, and a white cell phone. So if you saw her that day, or if you might have seen her since then, you should definitely again call or contact the Vernon RCMP at 250-545-7170, or you can do it anonymously at Crime Stoppers at 1-888-222-8477. And so I had brought up the Highway of Tears and the amount of missing Indigenous women that go missing along that highway or found dumped along that highway. And I'm just briefly going to go over the missing and murdered Indigenous women because it is an epidemic. There should not be this many that are. When I read this to you, it is going to blow your mind that is so overlooked. And I know that one person in particular, Danielle Hallen, who's on YouTube, a great true crime YouTuber, has talked about this at length in many of her videos and goes into even more depth. And you should also just look into it on your own time. It's crazy that nothing is being done about this. It is so obviously an issue, and it's like no one cares enough to do anything about it. So I'm going to read to you real quick. So CBC News looked into 34 cases across Canada which involve the death or disappearance of Indigenous women, when the authorities say were not due to foul play in every case. And they're saying in every case there was no foul play. The families say they do not accept the findings of the RCMP and that they think murder could be involved. CBC found evidence in many cases that points to suspicious circumstances, unexplained bruises, and other factors that suggest further investigation is warranted. So they did their own little investigation and they realized that maybe the police were looking over some stuff and maybe they weren't taking it seriously, maybe they didn't care enough. Whatever the reason may be, they're trying to say that in every case there was no foul play, there's nothing weird, it's whatever. And so they did their own investigation, and there's definitely, in many of the cases, something weird or something is off. And even if you just read up on cases along the Highway of Tears, or just in Canada in general, it doesn't even have to be along the Highway of Tears. Missing Indigenous women, you will see that a lot of times when they go missing. I'm sorry, I'm like fumbling my words. I'm so upset. When they go missing, they're not really looked for. There's not really a whole lot of coverage. The police don't care. Maybe the non-Indigenous communities don't care, I should say. You're definitely gonna see that, and you're gonna be like, this seems so suspicious. Why is nothing being done? And that's why a lot of people are saying that this is an epidemic. This many people should not be missing, and the police are doing nothing about it. Or at least it feels that way. So I definitely suggest you look into that. It's a whole movement, the missing and murdered Indigenous women. It's very important that we talk about, because we need to protect Indigenous women. We need to make sure that they are kept safe, and when they go missing or they're murdered, they're giving justice. They're getting the investigations that they deserve. So I'm going on a little bit of a soapbox rant, I'm sorry, but that is what I think about that. And what do I think about Caitlin Potts? Like I said, the estranged boyfriend thing was kind of weird, but that maybe just because he owes her money doesn't make him a murderer, and we don't know if they even met up at all, so that means nothing. The abusive boyfriend thing is definitely weird, especially that she ended up leaving again the same month she went missing. I feel like if something happened to her and it was someone that she knew, it would definitely be the boyfriend. I feel in my heart of hearts that he would know something. And just because he was bad to her in the relationship and she left, maybe they didn't have contact again. Maybe he's not a part of it. Maybe he has done nothing wrong. Maybe he's not the reason why she's gone. But like I said, if someone did something and it's someone she knows, they have to look into him. He was already that abusive. I think her leaving might tip him off. But what if it's someone that she didn't know? Like I said, like the research said, that community was along Highway 97. It could have been someone that it was a crime of opportunity. They saw her, they took her, and that's that. And we might not ever know what happened to her, but I really hope that for her family's sake and just so she can rest, they find her, whether that is alive or to put her to rest. I hope she is found. I hope the family gets answers. I hope there are updates for them soon. I can't imagine losing someone and just not knowing. So I wish the family will just get answers, and my thoughts are with them. If they see this, Caitlin was and seems like an amazing person, and I hope things start coming your way. And I'm very sorry about your situation. Links for my research will be down in the description below. I will also have the numbers if you or someone you know has tips where you can contact and give your information. And yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for listening to Caitlin's story, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.